Claire is an MI7 agent who is assigned to protect the royal family undercover as the nanny. While keeping the children safe, she gets closer to their uncle, Prince Colin, who loves to have fun. 3 weeks before Christmas, Claire Champion's colleague Wallace invites her for Christmas dinner with his family. Claire is excited to meet his children, but she's sure she will be on duty then. Claire gets an alert about a courier entering the market. She finds the suspect, Michael, dropping off a gift at the charity. Claire asks Wallace to chase the van while she gets the package. Claire asks for permission to intercept the woman with the package, Amanda. Since there's a delay in permission, she finds the package but loses track of her. Amanda is glad and informs someone that Claire took the bait. Their boss, Vance, gets the package cleared from the bomb squad. What a relief. They find a microdot on the Teddy, which hasn't been used since the Cold War. It has all security profiles for Kensington Palace, including alarm codes and shift changes. It seems someone with inside access is posing a threat to the royal family. Vance briefs the team about the members of the family. The eldest daughter of the king, Princess Rose, is first in line to the throne. She's married to Prince Edward, and their parents to Princess Elle and Prince Robert, who are next in line after Rose. Her younger brother, Prince Colin, is the fourth in line and doesn't stay at Kensington. He still oversees the king's Christmas charity for the family. They know the charity is somehow related to the threat. The head of their agency, Taylor, declares it a crisis mission. The only openings in the royal staff are for the protection officer and royal nanny. A nanny will provide the undercover protection they need to identify a security breach beforehand. He assigns Claire as the nanny, while Wallace has to assist her as the security officer. Claire doesn't seem too eager to be the nanny. She grew up in a children's home and never had a family of her own. Taylor reminds her she's the only one available on such short notice. He asks her to think of the oath she took to protect the king and the country. Taylor wants to rope in the headmistress of Devonshire Academy, Ms. Juliet Lansbury, to assist with her cover. Juliet herself has handpicked caretakers for the royal family in the last 30 years. Claire wants to swap roles with Wallace since he has kids and knows how they function. Can't argue with that. Wallace wishes her luck and asks her to find out why everyone calls Juliet Scary Poppins. Juliet usually takes 4 years of study to consider placing someone in the royal household. She only has 1 day with Claire, who doesn't even have experience with children. The only thing Claire knows about them is from the time she was a kid. She will surely make a great nanny. Juliet feels a successful nanny needs to be passionate about children and refuses to teach Claire. She convinces Juliet that she's the only option to breach a threat to the British Empire. Juliet likes that Claire takes her oath seriously, but knows she needs to oversee her training personally. She starts sharing tips with Claire about how well-groomed and efficient a nanny should be. She asks her to always smile and remain calm. She also asks Claire to be prepared for threats and always carry an umbrella. It doesn't draw attention but comes in handy whenever there's an attack. Claire is sure Juliet spent time in security service, but she refuses to admit anything. Juliet also wants Claire to be guided by common sense and allow the children to be themselves. Juliet feels she has taught Claire everything she possibly could. Since Claire is receptive, she's more confident of her chances with the family. Ellie and Robert think they don't need a nanny, but Rose asks them to give the new one a chance. Juliet personally introduces them and claims Claire Carter comes highly recommended by her. If only they knew. Claire plays her part and is gracious to the royals. Rose asks her assistant, Olivia, to take Claire to her room. Olivia warns Claire that the children love pranks and have sent some nannies packing in a day or two. Claire is confident about her chances, but Olivia feels every nanny thinks like that at first. Claire hasn't noticed any security red flags but promises to update her team soon. She carefully looks around for the prank items planted by the kids and hands them a box when she's done. The kids are disappointed their plan didn't work and approach Colin. They complain about the new nanny foiling their welcome pranks, but Colin has something more foolproof. He's sure the bucket on the door trick never fails and warmly welcomes Claire. He claims he's very involved with his niece and nephew and wants to make sure they're taken care of. He tries to leave so she can enter her room, but she smiles and throws the spaghetti bucket at him. He looks like he respects her for it. Rose doesn't believe the kids gave Claire a warm welcome. We don't either. Claire still insists she loves them and keeps her smile intact. Colin feels she's too clever, which Rose takes as a good sign. Vance's team finds Amanda in her hideout, but she escapes before they can break the door open. Vance checks out her plans and feels the threat is already in motion. Rose feels bad that Edward won't be home for Christmas because of his duties to the Royal Air Force. She tries to be excited about spending Christmas with him after New Year, but they all know it won't be the same. Robert needs Rose's help with a school project, and she's excited to schedule time for it. Olivia reminds her the whole week is packed, and they're traveling too. Robert knows he'll have to ask the tutor, but Rose insists she wants to help. Claire tries to be sympathetic about the kid's father not being around, but they ignore her. Wallace has been assigned to their security, but they ignore him too. They get called by Vance after dropping the kids to school. He has Michael in his custody and questions him about working with Amanda in the SAS. He asks about their plans, but Michael just keeps smiling. Vance knows Michael and Amanda are both ex-military, and that Amanda has been surveying the royal family for a while. They don't know their exact plan yet, and Michael has already ditched his phone before getting arrested. The van driver was found to be employed by the transport company contracted by the royal charity. It mostly consists of volunteers, and they're checking if Amanda is working for the charity too. Claire tries to hide from Colin as she comes with Wallace to find Michael's phone. Wallace knows him as England's most eligible bachelor because of Abby. He feels Claire might also want a Prince Charming. He seems more of a prince of pranks to her currently. No arguments there. Claire pretends she dropped her phone and gets excited to see one at the Lost and Found. She's sure it's Michael's phone and finds something on it. They head to Colin's residence, Frogmore House, after picking up the kids from school. They are still silent, so Claire asks if they want toenail clippings for Christmas. That's not random at all. This gets the reaction she expected, and they reply to her in disgust. Elle feels she's not like other nannies, and she takes that as a compliment, because she isn't one. Colin's security man, Price, welcomes the children. Colin doesn't let Claire come into his house and thinks the kids are safe with him. Claire goes to the kitchen to check an alarm being triggered, and finds Rose making food. She asks Claire to keep this between them, while Wallace also barges in. He explains that they have placed heightened security measures, which Olivia forgot to brief Rose about. I wonder why. Claire pretends it's her fault the alarm was triggered. Rose asks to be updated directly, so Wallace informs her about a credible threat to her and the children. He assures her they've deployed additional security and will do anything to keep them safe. Rose asks everyone to leave, and thanks Claire for covering for her. She feels overwhelmed with all the royal duties. She's grateful to her staff for the help, but hates that the protocol doesn't let her spend time with her own children. She's trying to make up for her absence with packed lunches in the middle of the night. Claire thinks the children just need to know she's present in their lives, which makes her feel better about herself. Rose has found time for Robert's project on Thursday night. She also promises Elle that she's arranging a video call with their father. Olivia keeps facing military protocol issues with the call, but Rose hopes she figures it out. Heaps of Christmas ornaments fall out when Wallace opens the door for the kids. He pretends to be shocked and scared and asks for a backup vehicle. The kids are impressed with Claire for pulling this off. She thanks Wallace for being a great sport and asks if he can schedule a military call. Wallace knows it's difficult, but can be made possible by bending some rules. Colin hopes Rose has fired the nanny by now. He seems to be haunted by the spaghetti humiliation. Rose shows him the video of the prank Claire pulled to win over the children. Colin can't believe someone as proper as her pulled off something so fun. Rose also feels she can confide in Claire, but Colin asks her to be careful because of something that happened last time. Rose knows he's worried about her, but feels Claire actually cares about them. When Rose is spending time with the kids, Claire interrupts them for a satellite call with Prince Edward. He can't reveal where he is but shares that he misses them. Olivia feels like Claire is overstepping her duties and not following proper protocol. Stop being so negative, Olivia. Claire asks Wallace to look into Olivia because there's something about her she doesn't trust. Rose thanks Claire for pulling the strings to arrange this call. She's so used to protocol that a kind gesture like this feels special. The agency finds something on the phone Claire retrieved. Vance asks Claire and Wallace to start watching Colin too after a video of him surfaces. They're not sure if he's a target or a suspect, but feel anyone can threaten the throne. Juliet is impressed by how much Rose likes Claire. She asks Claire to keep following her instincts. Claire wonders if Colin is capable of harming the family. Juliet knows he loves his sister and the children, and has no interest in the crown. Claire explains that their prime suspect is working with Colin's charity. She needs to keep a watch on him since even he could be in danger. Since he doesn't let her enter his house, Juliet has a plan. The next time Colin refuses to let Claire in, she invokes the Lansbury nanny protocol. According to that, she's supposed to be within arm's reach of the children on duty. Anyone who interferes has to deal directly with Juliet. From Colin's reaction, Juliet seems like a true scary Poppins. He lets Claire in on the condition that she can prove she knows how to have fun. Claire is impressed with the Christmas decorations at his place. Colin explains that the children are helping him wrap the gifts for the charity this year. Robert suggests they should play charades with Claire since they need a fourth player. Claire teams up with Elle and easily guesses what she's acting out. Colin can't guess the right term on time, and Claire insists his time is up. She doesn't let Colin guess her word when it's Elle's turn, but Colin allows their team to get a point when Robert guesses it. He likes that Claire is competitive, and thinks she fits in. Colin admits it's rare for the children to like a nanny, and is sure she knows how to have fun. The children agree with Colin that she can join the Royal Fun Club. The headquarters for this club are at Colin's place, where no royal protocol is followed. Colin asks Elle to fetch his sword and sheath, and he anoints Claire as a member of the club. That seems like a lot of effort. Claire admires that Colin has been involved with the charity since he was Robert's age. Colin asks her to volunteer with them when the children are at school the next day. Claire wonders why he puts so much effort into a charity when he doesn't need to. Colin has been getting extravagant gifts as a royal since he was a kid. Over time, the magic of these gifts worsens. He realized giving gifts gave him more joy than receiving them. Isn't he a true Prince Charming? He has now made it his mission to give as much as possible. James Wilder, the richest man in England, drives up to them. Colin has been trying to make him donate for years, but he never does. Colin explains his business model, where he takes requests from all children's houses in October and starts fulfilling their wishes. James doesn't think of it as a business, since there's no profit. Claire steps in as someone who knows how one gift can make a difference in a child's life. She explains how Christmas charity was the only thing she relied on while growing up in a children's home. They didn't have families to spend the holidays with, but had something to look forward to with the gifts. James feels it's better to establish programs that help such children get work, rather than giving them a luxury for a day. She agrees with him, but feels a toy is more about hope and joy, and a reminder that the world cares. She feels one gift can empower the children to take on the world. She asks James to buy a toy for one child, and offers to match his donation. She convinces him because James agrees to donate money for the 1,000 gifts Colin is running short of. Claire almost hugs Colin in excitement. He can't believe how great she is. They almost share a moment, but Claire remembers work. The children want Claire to take them Christmas shopping for Rose as a surprise. She convinces Wallace to let them pick out the gifts themselves. He only gives them half an hour to lock the store for them. That was too easy. The kids feel it's difficult to shop for Rose, who already gets a lot of gifts all year round. Claire suggests they should get something they can experience together. Robert picks out marbles, but Claire feels they should gift her a globe to represent everything in the world. Amanda wants to kidnap both the children and has her team ready. She realizes the security is tight, so she decides to leave. That was close. Colin is happy to see Claire at the tree lighting, and they all make wishes in the Christmas fountain. Rose has noticed Colin is interested in Claire and asks if he likes her. Colin feels she has proven to be great with the children. Surely his warming up to her is just because of the children. Rose feels bad she can't help Robert with the project that night. The king needs her and Colin to fill in since he's not feeling well. Claire learns from Olivia that they're flying out of Heathrow that night. She slips out and asks Vance to ground the flight leaving Heathrow that evening. She claims it's an issue of domestic security, so he promises to arrange that with Taylor. The children have made Claire their reindeer and are throwing hoops at her. Rose informs them about her flight getting grounded and is glad she can help Robert with his project. The children want to play first and ask her to join them. Colin feels Claire is being a great reindeer, and they all take turns to be one so the others can throw hoops. Seems like Rose should be a part of the Royal Fun Club too. Rose gives Claire the rest of the evening off, and even Colin claims he will head home. Of course, he will. Since they both have time free, he offers to show Claire the palace gardens. Claire explains that it's difficult for her to think of any place as home. She never got adopted, but feels she still had a decent life. Colin can tell Rose already thinks of Claire as part of the family. He apologizes for how he behaved the first time, but Claire is just satisfied with how he looks covered in spaghetti. Aren't we all? She asks if he's looking to start a family, and he claims he's open to the idea. He has trouble trusting people, which is something Claire also struggles with after growing up alone. He feels they can trust each other, and tries to kiss her. Nothing could go wrong here. Price interrupts them because Taylor from MI7 wants to brief him on a security matter. Colin is in no mood to leave just then, but Claire assures him she understands. She watches the interrogation in secret with Wallace. Taylor and Vance show Colin photos of Amanda, and how she poses a threat to the royal family. They show him how much information Amanda has on his sister, and are sure someone on the inside is helping her. Colin assures them he only knows Amanda as a hard worker who joined this year. Taylor suggests he should step back from the charity that year. Colin feels the charity can't work without him, but agrees to talk to Rose about reducing the children's involvement. Claire doesn't believe Colin will endanger his family, but Taylor asks her to handle this professionally. Claire asks if they can use Michael's phone to find out who gave him the package that day. Rose refuses to cancel her Christmas party because of a security threat. She wants her kids to have a normal childhood and not live in fear. This might be a bad idea. Price also feels the palace is secure, so Rose insists they're keeping the party. Claire helps Robert get access to all the snacks. Colin calls them outside because he hates being in the spotlight. Rose reminds him he needs to attend his own party. Colin agrees to go if he can take Claire along as his guest. Now we're talking. She's supposed to look after the children, but Rose knows she can call the night nanny earlier for them. She offers to lend Claire a gown, but she has something for this occasion. Rose is glad she's joining them and thinks all their lives are better with her in it. Colin makes an entry with Rose by his side and thanks her. When Claire walks in wearing her gorgeous gown, Colin thinks she looks as stunning as always. He starts greeting guests with Claire as his date, while Olivia gives her a dirty look. This might not end well. Juliet feels Claire is fitting in better than she ever expected. Claire thinks being with the children has brought out something in her. She always took care of younger kids at home and thinks she might have joined the agency to take care of others. Juliet already knows Claire is always honest about who she is. Colin is glad to see Juliet and thanks her for sending Claire their way. Colin takes Claire to a room where he hides presents, so Robert and Elle don't find them before Christmas. He creates a display every year, after which he gifts an ornament to the kids. They put up all the decorations on the tree on Christmas Eve, and it has become a tradition now. They're special memories for him, but Claire really appreciates what he does, and thinks it's very thoughtful. Rose wants the kids to grow up humble, so he tries to make them appreciate the simple things. She thinks they're lucky to have him, but he thinks he's lucky to have her. Things get heated, but Claire takes him back to the ball. What a pity. Taylor has found Michael's route, and has footage of Colin giving him the gift. Claire doesn't believe that means Colin is at fault. She has spent a lot of time with him, and knows from experience that he's not that sort of a person. I mean, he is pretty perfect. Taylor feels she's getting too close to the family. Claire offers to step down if he thinks she's compromised. Taylor thinks she's still their biggest asset because the family trusts her, so she should stay. 2 days before Christmas, Colin comes to distribute gifts at the home where Claire grew up. She's getting a flashback of the past, but he jokes about being the gift of Christmas present for her. He can still work on the humor. They distribute gifts to the kids and watch them feeling excited. Amanda's team is waiting outside, and some of them corner Colin. She asks Claire to hand over the kids. Claire uses the same tricks Juliet taught her with the umbrella, and brings the children safely to the car with Wallace. Juliet seems to know her stuff. Once she hands them over to Rose, she explains who she really is. Rose is glad she was there to protect the kids, but they're worried about the kidnappers having Colin. Taylor dismisses Claire and insists she needs to leave. Rose doesn't care who Taylor is, because her priority is her children. She only trusts Claire and wants any security briefing to be through her. Good call, Rose. Claire promises to do anything to get Colin back, and Rose already knows she will. Claire feels something is weird because Amanda already knew who she was. She addressed her in the market with her real name, and not the alias. She knows someone from the inside has to be involved. They find that Officer Price is also missing, and Vance needs them for a meeting. Colin's phone has been traced to a package that has been delivered to Claire. She picks up the phone and finds Colin on the other line. He's relieved that the kids are safe, but asks her to check the list of demands his kidnappers have left. She promises to get him out of this, and he believes her. Claire informs her team that they want Michael released, and a drive with 50 million crypto. Claire feels the family should decide this, but Taylor thinks it's a matter of state and wants to involve the Prime Minister. Claire feels something is weird about Taylor, but gets distracted by Olivia's financial records. They show she's in need of funds, so Claire calls her in for questioning. Olivia clarifies that the funds are coming from a tabloid since she sells them gossip about the royal family. Claire reminds her she'll see jail time for any classified information. She also gives her a termination letter from Rose. The PM has declared this a national emergency, but Claire feels they don't have enough time to wait for security clearances. She knows Amanda is one step ahead of them, and clearly has help from someone on the inside. Taylor feels Claire is letting her feelings for Colin interfere when he's sure Colin seems to be the mastermind, but even he can't explain how Colin got himself kidnapped. When Taylor still keeps blaming him, Claire realizes this is personal. She is sure Taylor has something against the royal family. He feels she's out of line, and suspends her. Claire thinks they've hit a tight end, but Juliet has proof to show Price is involved in Amanda's plan. She has informers all over the city and knows that Michael and Price worked together in SAS. She also knows they were former MI7 and were decommissioned. They soon became ghost agents and took off book missions. Juliet also knows Taylor is behind all this because the royals were once thinking of cutting funding for MI7. They wanted to create a joint security service, but Taylor has never wanted that. Finally, something that makes sense. Juliet is now counting on Claire to bring Colin home safely. She admits she was his nanny, and he was the one who nicknamed her Scary Poppins. Makes sense. Claire finds her team and fills them in on what she learned. She also knows Colin is inside the building they're staking, and they confirm it with their camera. Claire wants to do this her way and sneaks into the building after one of Aminata's men brings something in. Claire hides out till she knocks out a few men with her umbrella. She silently rescues Colin and assures him everything she tells him about herself is true, apart from her job, of course. Claire asks Colin to stay behind her and drops a lot of boxes on Amanda. When Price chases them, she traps him with the marbles she bought with the kids. When her team comes in to arrest them, Colin knows Juliet would be proud of her. Vance takes over from Taylor and gets him arrested for his attempt to frame Colin. Taylor claims he did it for the agency and feels the job will change him too. Vance is sure the job only makes a person more of who they already are. The kids are glad to see Colin back, but he surprises them with their father dressed as Santa. Colin still wonders how Claire pulled this off. She explains how Colin's abduction triggered military safety protocol, so Edward was relieved of his duties. Colin finally asks what she wished for back at the fountain. She admits she just wanted to spend Christmas with his family. Rose gets a call for Claire from the king, who wants her to join them for Christmas. Colin is impressed because their father never makes such an exception for outsiders. Rose knows Claire is like family to them, and hopes Colin makes it official soon. Claire realizes Juliet was right about love triumphing over everything, and Colin kisses her.